And here's another thing. You could do it like a frame story. If you were writing this as a fictional piece,
Yeah.
where you start with him as an older man walking along the beach. And he's starting to remember this, and then it goes into the future, or goes into the past as the present.
Oh, I like that.
And then end up with him on the beach. And,
that's what I was just thinking. I thought, well, how would I start the story, and who would, do you, when you're writing the story, is it somebody that's watching the story unfold, or are you, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Can you...
It's like a frame story where you begin at the beginning with him in the present, and then you go back into the past. Not a flashback. I'm not talking about a flashback. I'm talking about where he actually goes back into the past, and that's what you're seeing.
Okay.
And then you move forward. There was a wonderful book called Water for Elephants, and they made it into a movie.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
And so the character started as with the main character as an old man, and he goes to see a circus, and then we go back into the past when he was actually in a circus. He was the circus veterinarian. And then we go through the whole story that we want to tell, and then it comes back to when he is an older man.
Okay. Yeah,
so it's used as a frame. So you could do this. And there was such a lovely letter here at the end where you used a lot of quotes with it that, this could be the letter he's, reading and intending to write, and maybe he dies on the beach or something. Okay. And I know. Be a sad ending, because he apparently had a long love for your aunt and never got over her.
You could tell.
He never got over having her.
And he was in a situation, he couldn't help it. He was in the middle of this intense, horrible war.
Right.
And so it was hard to stay in touch, and so I know he felt like he was always having to apologize for not being able to write, and I'm so sorry, I've been so tired, I've been busy, and it was true.
And
it wasn't an excuse.
And even to go see her when he had to come back and see his dad.
Yeah, he had to choose. He had to make a choice. Do I go see my dying father, or do I go see my wife that I desperately miss?
Right.
That's a tough decision.
And unfortunately, there were a lot of marriages that fell into that, where, the people... they split apart because the war was just too long and too hard on both parties.
Right.
So, there's your conflict and your tension, is that they can't be together, even though they want to be together, but they can't.
Right.
Well,
that's some great ideas. I'm ready to get started.
Yeah. And I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful story. I was so enwrapped in it. Like I said, I even forgot I was, reading about somebody in your family. And so there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. If you have old letters, I would encourage you to scan them into some kind of digital formatting. And also, yes. You can,
I love my phone.
You can do that with phone. You can do it with a scanner and a computer.
Right.
Scan the photographs so that you have digital copies, and that way you can also share with other people. Another thing you might even want to do, if you had a lot of family members you were interested in doing something, you could write up a small piece about him and create a website that you could share with other family members, and leave them public if you wanted to. You can shut those so that they're not public and it's just for your family.
Right.
Or you can just open it up to the world and have different pages for different family members.
All right, so I got a question for you. When you're working with somebody like me, like somebody out there, is this how you kind of like to get material? Do you? Because I sent you some letters, and then I thought, there's so many letters. I'll just kind of do a little overview of each one in order, and that's what I sent you.
Right.
Do you prefer that?
Most of the time when I work with clients, they already have something written that I can read. They've already started their story.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, so I've got this opening, but now I don't know what to do. And then what I do is, as a developmental editor, is help you look at ways you can explore this, how you can set your story up. And they might have to go back and do some rewriting, but that's what writing is all about, is revision.
Right.
So I'll explore areas that you can use with your story.
Okay.
And make it deeper and broaden it out. And where you might need to do more research or where the letters and the information that you have will be enough.
Okay.
But if you're writing it as fiction, you have to remember that. Then Captain Jack Hawk becomes a fictional character. He is no longer truly based on the real life person, because real lives don't measure out to fiction. But he's got so much here. Do you understand what
Yeah. I just thought there might be some people out there like me that have never done this. It's like It's like I have all these creative skills and I like to make films, but I don't really know how to write. But I'd like to learn more about how to write. But right now I'm not really very good at it. I can take something somebody else has written and edit. Edit it all day. But
and that's part of what I do as well as a writing coach. I help people strengthen their writing skills, what they need to have to make a story. There's a lot of different elements if you're talking about fiction that you have to write as a story, as well as elements for writing what is known as creative nonfiction. You take the elements and you stick straight to the facts, but you also put in elements of setting and description and dialogue and things of that nature that make it almost read like a narrative.
Okay.
About the person. And so, writing, sometimes you just have to sit down and do it. And then once you get something on paper, someone like myself can help you expand your story and really take a look at the way you want to tell it and make sure that it's engaging and interesting.
All right.
Okay.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Yay. So you've got a great story here, and somebody with a great name, and
you can't. I remember when I first came across, I was like, Captain Jack. Wow.
And Kris and I both love like Star Wars movies, and things of that nature, and so we're looking at the hero's journey, and that's something I'm going to be talking about on future videos, where we look at how the hero's journey moves forward. And Captain Jack Hawk is your hero, and though I don't know that he would. You have to think in terms of how much you're willing to put of your family out there. That's another issue that you have to think about. And maybe he wouldn't want it or not, but we're going to make Captain Jack the hero. So he's going to probably be okay with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And it's a way to remember them and kind of to honor their memory. Captain Jack won or earned a Bronze Star or was awarded a Bronze Star and a Silver Star.
Right.
And he was a hero by all accounts. And so that's some history you can look up as well. What he did to earn those, and put that in there and create a scene that goes along with it. So when you're writing fiction, you have to write in scenes.
And I'm sure all these people, these great filmmakers, that's really what they do, is they go back to this stuff, right? Something like this inspired them.
Exactly.
Whoever wrote a book about World War II,
Finds
probably came across letters just like the ones I have.
Oh, exactly. And there's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of ways. If you don't have somebody in your family but you're interested in a particular period, libraries all over the country have things in their archives that you can look up and use and then create a fictional story with. Do you have a story that you're trying to write or would like to write? Or are you already gotten started and are a little bit stuck? I can help you. I'm a project development editor. I've got 20 plus years of editing experience, and I would be happy to help you with your story. Sometimes we just need some fresh eyes to look at our story and figure out what we need, and this is one of the things that I help my clients with. So right now, if you're interested, I'm offering a special to help whether you've gotten started or not. And what that special is, it includes 2 phone calls. They're 30 minutes apiece. One is a pre-call before you actually submit something to me, and then one would be the post call. I will evaluate 10 pages double spaced of your written story and give you some feedback on that. I will also give you a writing prompt that will be designed to help you with a particular aspect of the story you're writing. And then I will give you 3 steps to move forward once we conclude our final phone call. And all of this is $99. You can visit my website at www.bonnymillard.com for more information. You can email me through that way, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from you.